Hi guys, so today I'm going to go over Chinese B Paper 1 SL. So this is the reading text for any of our fellow IB students doing Chinese. I want to do this video just to give tips on like how to best improve and hopefully get the best marks. So this one's from 2016 November, and yeah, let's just get started. So best tips for reading test would be try and in my experience is try and get down as much as possible in a short amount of time and then go back and check your answers more deeply. So for me this usually involves like 10 minutes per text. So there's 4 texts in a test. I allocate myself 40 minutes to try and get down an answer for every question, and then afterwards go back and check them more deeply, because I can be fairly certain I got some correct and others I'll just need to check over again. And that usually works for me. I usually end up getting a 6, and I think it's a really good tip for others, but if you guys have any other tips to suggest to me, then feel free to do otherwise. But anyway, so the reading test, each text is usually split up into like separate parts. So you've got like your intro, your different bodies, and then your conclusion. What you want to do is you want to go boom, boom, boom. Intro, bodies, done. So you go section by section. So for this particular text, we read the title because that'll tell you like the overall theme and get a feel for what kind of text type it is. So for example, in this case, we have subheadings and it's sort of like an advertisement, so you can probably assume it's something like a 传单, a pamphlet, or a 小册子. And yeah. So, starting off with the first section, we have sort of like the general sort of detail. So we've got the activities goals, the target audience, the number of people who can go, and the cost. Now, looking over at these questions, this one's that irritating multiple choice thing, which kind of pisses me off. I like these ones where it's just like one box and you don't have to like see, oh, does this one fit? Does this one fit? But yeah, the IB's just mean like that. So, the first question we have is 通过工作实习, or like, what is the sort of path or like path the work experience is trying to like lead young people on. And you gotta like, and for this one, since it's 通过, which is like path, you want to go to like 目标, which is sort of like the purpose. Like purpose is sort of like what path students are leading on. So we have 协助, which is like to help young people accumulate work experience. 提升 or 提升, improve young people's employability. And we have 培养, which is foster young people's good working attitude. So in this case, we find any of the options that are related to improving ability or fostering a good attitude. So if we look over here, A is about 收费, which is like cost, so that one's out. C, we have like cannot participate in this experiment. D is like restricted to just recently graduated students. E and F, however, do have the 2 key words, 能力和态度. So we read over both of them. E is wrong because it says can strengthen young people's studying, 读书, which literally means read book. However, this work experience is focusing on employability, 就业能力, not studying, so E is out. But F says 能让青少年学习正教的工作态度. 正教是 like correct or good. And in this case, it's talking about allowing kids to study good working attitudes, which is what the activity wants to have in mind. So F is the correct answer. So, moving on to the second question, we have 年龄超过20岁. So this one's talking about age. So we see if there's anything about age. Yes, we do. We have 对象, which is like target audience. And in this case, it says 15 to 20, and this bracket says 应ju, which is like sort of this year, like this current thing. It's like this current high school graduates will be first considered. 先考虑. So in this case, and usually graduates are 18 to 19 years old, so anyone over 20 is probably not going to be able to participate in this experience. And C, well, that says 不能参加这次实习计划, so cannot participate in this experience, so C is going to be the correct answer. C, no, C, there we go. Now the final one, 参加实习计划的人数. Now this one's talking about numbers. So we see here we got 5, and I forgot what this character means, but since there's a number here, 60 Ming. Now Ming is something like Mingbao, so like to sign up. I'm not sure if it's Mingbao or Bao Ming, but anyway, Ming is sort of like places or sort of like the application you can put on. So since there's 60 and that's a limit there, we look at anything that's got like reference to the word limit, 限制. And what do you know? We have H, which is 设有限制, which is there has been designed a limit or restriction. So H will be the correct answer. There we go. Now moving on to the second section, we have this. The second section of this text talks about the 计划养亲. So it's talking about like the specific details of the thing. And there's actually quite a lot to read here. So we'll just go over it quickly, but we have 第一部分, which is like the first part. We see here that this work experience is divided into 2 parts. One which is like a 6-day before like course, like training course and stuff, and the date here is the 8th of June. Oh no, it goes from the 8th to the 13th of June, from Monday to Saturday, 星期一至星期六. And the time here is in the morning at 9 until the afternoon at 6. And the place, 地点, is something 沙街青年协会教学中心, so like the Young People's Association Education Center. And 第二部分, the second part, is a month summer work experience. And the dates there are the 1st of July to the 31st of July, so for the whole month. And then the specific details of the second part is that we have participants go on sort of different work styles for a month, and then the second part is like every week they go to work for 4 days. Every day they work for 8 hours, which also includes a 1-hour lunch break. Then in total for 4 weeks, every week, the work numbers cannot be less than 30 hours, and then the whole opportunity cannot be less than 120 hours of work. And then we have the experience also includes like a community center. The workplaces can include a community center, an old person's home, the local library, or the Gongwei University. So after that mouthful, we go on to the second section of questions, which fortunately for us is multiple choice. So number 4, 青少年暑期工作实习计划 So this one's like something about the experience. And looking at these options, most of them refer to like a sort of time or whether they're split into two parts. So in this case, we look at like overall, and we see it goes for 6 days. Well, technically that's wrong. The first part goes for 6 days. So A, out of the question. It's held over the 8 month or August, and we see nope, not being held over the 8 month. So B is incorrect. C, it's 分为两个部分. This one's like it's split into two parts, which is correct. And then, so C is the correct answer. Alright, good. Now, number 5 is 绝欠 page 1课程. So this one's talking about the first part, as we mentioned, as these characters are also found in the title of this first part. So this one you're going to be reading over the details of the first part, and here we have options for like the times it goes for. So A is it starts from the first day of July. Well, that's wrong because that happens to the second part. B, it's something about attending on Sunday. And if we see here, well, Sunday is not included. It's only from Monday to Saturday. So B is incorrect. C, it's at the community center you attend this course. And that is close, but no, it's not at the community center. It's at this education institution center. So C is incorrect. So D has to be the correct one. It ends at 6 in the afternoon. Yeah, sorry, that's just a FaceTime thing. Anyway, so, and the third question, which is the summer work experience. So this is talking about the second part. And we see here we've got A, which is the work done way, or like single workers can freely choose what option they want. And seeing here, it doesn't feel like they're being there's nothing referencing like their ability to choose. So A, there's no thing like 自由, which is free. So nothing about freely choosing here. So A is not going to be the correct answer. B, which is the workplaces, that includes an old person's home and the university, which could be a correct answer, but we'll have to check over these other options to see which one's more correct, because B doesn't include every single workplace. C, it doesn't have a minimum work hour requirement. Well, that's wrong because there is a work requirement thing. And D, which is you must work on a working week. The absolute least on a week you can work is 5 days, but here it's not 5 days, it's 4 days, and that's the maximum you can work. So D is incorrect, so B must be the correct answer. And our 7, which is the final one, this is section 3, and this part talks about other things you should know, as well as like how to contact these people, and this part's important, the restriction for signing up. So for example, if there's a deadline to get an RSVP to a person's party, or something like a deadline, and this part you got to pay to, very importantly. But so looking at the questions here, number 7, this one's you actually have to write out something, but most of the time you can just regurgitate whatever's on here. So 7, we have participants in this work experience, the young people, how can they obtain an experience card like 证书? So we see here there's something about 证书 here. So we read this passage and it's 出局于 something 的 80% 或以上的参加者. But in this case, sometimes you don't even have to know what this actually means. All you gotta know is that if the word in the question is in this clause, you just copy this whole sentence out and slap it on there. So in this case, we have this second point, which should be your answer for 7. And then number 8, we have participants, participants in the work experience. How can they obtain this 奖励规定? So something about like scholarship, something like a scholarship rule, something like that. But if we check here, we have that same thing, 奖励规定. So we copy this third clause as your answer for 8. And then 9, we have 2 parts to 9, 9A and B. So you're probably going to have to 2 things you're going to look for in this text. And this one says, so for this work experience, how can you sign up? And it mentions in bold 2 ways, 2种方法. So how can you contact these people? Well, they provide a phone, 电话, and they also provide an email. So you can put down 电话和电子邮件, and you could probably get those 2 marks. Number 10. Now this one you have to pay attention to this deadline, because it says here, the work experience, at what time is the deadline? And because it's 什么时候, it's probably best if you pay attention to this. So it says here, the day before the practice course. And this refers back to the first part. So if you check up the first part, the practice course starts on the 8th of June. So what you're going to do is you can probably put the 7th of June. And that will probably get you the 1 mark as you've referenced the specific time. So yeah. We're done. That is the first text. Now, it probably took you long and you're probably sleeping or going on to some other video, but it is my first time. So if you have any tips on like how to improve my videos, then feel free to suggest in the comments on Reddit. Thank you.